Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Assassin in a Gingham Dress, written by WegianWarrior. Having gone over the provided information, I accepted the contract. The human target was an extended stay planetside and had a predictable routine. I went undercover as a sustenance service worker. Over the first 2 cycles, I tried the normal approaches for contract fulfillment. Sodium chlorine applied to the dermal layer, capsaicin mixed with their sustenance order, releasing venomous insects into their domicile. The 2 former gave no reaction, while the latter just resulted in a minor swelling and localized discoloration of the dermal layer. In desperation, I performed a highly illegal modification on a power storage unit and applied 20 kV direct to the target's exposed skin. Again, with no noticeable reaction. Clearly a more tailored approach was required. Under the continued guise of working for a local sustenance consumption business, I successfully induced the target to imbibe a scalding hot mug of bitter plant extract, brimming with a highly potent methylated xanthine cloth central nervous system stimulant. Target swallowed the poison brew quickly, thus confirming the theories on the human lack of pain and taste senses, and requested a refill. Fearing my cover blown, I immediately made an excuse and retreated. The new waitress at the diner on the corner had managed to get some coffee today, especially for me, she said. Only enough for 1 cup, though. Maybe her contacts got some more tomorrow. She got all flustered when I asked for a refill. She's plenty cute for a Xeno, too, if a little clumsy when she knocked the portable power bank over the other day. Maybe I should ask her. I think she's a she or on a date later. A nice date would be nice after this week. At least the rash from the bug bite is going away. They won't release me from the contract, and to make matters worse, the proprietor of the local sustenance consumption business has decreed that the order to create ambience, all staff are now required to wear a specific outfit, which hinders my mobility. Resigned, I called in multiple favors. I reprogrammed the cook to produce a pureed tuber from a Terran plant in a well-known poisonous plant family. I procured, via black market channels, the waste filtration organs of a Terran animal, minced and wrapped in the intestines from the same animal. Additionally, I managed to get more of the methylated xanthine class central nervous system stimulant brew. The combined toxins ought to have killed or at least incapacitated the target. I was nervous when I presented the plate to the target. After the toxic brew last week, he's got to be alert for further attacks. The target not only ate it all, but managed to corner me in the back area with the sustenance consumption business. The target is obviously aware that I am targeting him. He tried to crush my thorax with his manipulated limbs. I initially tried to squeeze the target's torso, but found that my upper limbs simply were not strong enough. I managed to twist out of the target's death grip, however. The target then fired off a rapid series of probing questions, clearly designed to put me off balance and make me reveal who bought the contract for him. I was confused and scared, something the target skillfully manipulated to gain knowledge of the number to my personal communicator. She's got to be sweet for me. The cute Xeno waitress at my favorite diner looked extra cute today in her new gingham dress. She almost spilled my plate when bringing it over, but clumsy can be cute too. And I was too busy admiring what she had managed to get just for me. She was very insistent that I did not share it with the other patrons. Bangers and mash. And more coffee too, properly black this time. I mean, the sausages were not as tasty as the ones back home, but then again, where would she get sage on a planet that outlaws even simple condiments? Needless to say, I cleaned my plate. She was looking at me from the back passage as I put my knife and fork down, so I went over to give her a hug to thank her. I might have gotten on a bit strong, because after the second of hugging me back, she twisted out of my arms. She got a bit flustered as I tried to flirt and learn more about her. Didn't get much, but I got a number at least. Maybe I'll call her tomorrow when she has calmed down a bit. The target is onto me. He must be onto me. And he torments me with the knowledge, clearly hoping to gain knowledge of who bought his contract. He must take delight in psychological torture. For 5 wake cycles in a row, he did a threat fang display each time he came into the local sustenance consumption business, but did not try to engage otherwise. I have been in contact with the source on the target species and have been informed that the way to the circulatory pump is through the digestive system. Considering that the target not only shrugs off toxins in the food, but seems to enjoy ingesting them while I watch, I am unsure what to do with this information. An attempt to take the target out with war gases did not yield any result. Flooding the ablution cubicle with a lethal concentration of sodium hydrochloride only resulted in a slight reddening of the target's mucous membranes. The resulting contamination resulted in the sustenance consumption business closing for 2 wake cycles for decontamination. I initially welcomed this as it would remove having to endure the threat/fang display again. But, to my horror, he called me on my personal communicator. I ignored it at first, but kept calling it, and when I set it to audio only, the target employed a powerful hacking software to force a video connection. This, and the threat fang display right in front of my eyes, caught me enough off guard that I failed to properly analyze his rapid, probing questions before replying. The target is trying to gain more knowledge of my movements and habits, clearly in an attempt to be able to put more pressure on me. More worrisome is that the target wants to meet in person, away from others. I am unsure if this would be in order to extract more information or to try and attack me again. I reluctantly agreed, if only to keep the target from taking the substantial amount of knowledge he has already amassed to the authorities. I did manage to suggest a meeting spot in the mountainous area near the city. This is a high-gravity world, and I'm sure that a fall can be arranged. Without wings, I am feeling confident that such an accident would be lethal. While inelegant, it would satisfy the contract. I need to arrange an outfit suitable for high mobility and, if need be, physical confrontation. I've been giving the cute Xeno girl a bit of space for this week, just giving her a big smile whenever I saw her in the local diner. She seemed to avoid me, but I kept noticing her looking my way whenever she thought I was not paying attention. Sadly, they had to close down for a weekend after someone spilled a bit of bleach in the bathrooms. One would think that spilling cleanup supplies would be a normal thing, but this is a different planet after all. I did take the opportunity to call her, though. The app I downloaded to ensure two-way video between otherwise incompatible operating systems worked great. I have to thank Jake for the tip next time I see him. She was all flusters and cuteness when she finally answered. I don't think she's used to someone giving compliments and wanting to know more about her. But I was able to talk her into a date, and she's even suggested going for a hike in the local mountains. At 0.61 G, that shouldn't be too strenuous, or even dangerous. Even so, I should make sure I get some good boots before this weekend. She did mutter something about a proper outfit when I terminated the call. I wonder what she'll wear. Direct engagement with the target has always been considered a danger, even more so when the target not only knows that he is a target, but clearly knows who the contracted assassin is. But in the current circumstances, the target must be aware that he's being targeted. I consider direct contact less dangerous than trying to avoid the target. Early this wake cycle, the target called my personal communicator again, and again, despite the fact that I have invested heavily in security software, he managed to force a two-way video connection. When I recovered from the shock of the target's threat/fang display, I was instructed not to be late for the one-on-one meeting that the target kept insisting upon. The threat to reveal my occupation and contract to authorities was unspoken, but clearly implied. I made sure to dress in a high-mobility outfit that would let me benefit from my agility. The target immediately noticed when he arrived at the designated meeting spot. Too early, so I had no time to rig a trap there, and informed me that he was aware I was wearing an assassin's outfit. This, coupled with his nonchalant vigilance, made me all jittery and unprofessional. The target was clearly flaunting his knowledge of the current situation, making sure to remind me ever so often that he was fully aware of what I am. The only reason I can think of is to break my resolve in order to learn of my contacts and who bought the contract on him. Despite this, I lead the target on a strenuous walk deeper into the mountainous area. He acted nonchalant again, but each time I looked at him, he was observing me closely. Clearly, he was expecting an attack at any moment, which also explains why he made sure to walk behind me the whole way. The target tried to engage in more of his probing questions underway, but I informed him that once we were at the place I was leading him to, there would be a resolution. The satellite imagery had, after all, revealed the 25-meter-tall cliff at the spot that I decided upon. When we got there, the target got all the way to the edge, despite the sheer vertigo he must have experienced. Seeing a chance, I tried to tackle the target and push him over the edge. But after a brief struggle, he trapped my thorax in his manipulator limbs again. This time, he was not satisfied with crushing me, but he also lifted me all my legs off the ground. I struggled in panic as his intent, shown by the target holding me over the edge several times in the span of a few seconds, was to throw me down the sheer drop. I collapsed when the target let go. In my panicked and dazed state, he continued his probing questions while towering over me. While I did manage to deflect any questions on the contract, he did manage to make me reveal several pieces of personal information. Realizing my plan to take out the target had failed again, I immediately started thinking of contingencies. Until the target is taken out, there will be no more contracts. No more contracts means that the cover of working at the local sustenance consumption business will have to be my primary source of income. Upon realization of this, I broached the subject with the target. Unless I were at work early the next wake cycle, I would likely not be allowed to work there. The target, clearly still not satisfied with the information I had been forced to reveal, agreed to let go. But at the same time, he informed me that he would keep track of my movements. I must expect that he will keep hounding me until he either learns who is behind the contract, decides to inform the authorities, or I find any way to fulfill the contract. The target wanted to learn of my location of my domicile. After trying to stall, I shamefully fled the location, taking a long and meandering detour to throw him off the track. I called the cute Xeno girl again this morning to remind her about our date and verify when we were to meet. She was all flusters and cuteness again when I smiled at her, which just made me smile even more. Maybe I went a little overboard when I told her I wouldn't know what to do if she was late, but she promised that she would be on time. The app worked great again, but it took a little longer to negotiate the video this time. Maybe I should spend the 2 credits for the paid version. I got to the parking lot early, but she was already there. She must have been as eager as me to have a fun date together. She got a little weird when I told her that she had a killer outfit. But how could I not let her know that I liked what I saw? I mean, if you think 2 legs look good in black hot pants, wait until you've seen 8. I let her lead the way for a nice and leisurely stroll up into the hills. I did try to learn more about her as we walked, but she seemed to be a little short of breath. She did say that there would be something good waiting when we got to the spot that she had in mind, so I was just happy to rest my eyes on her along the way. The view from the little drop she stopped at was nice too, a short drop into a purple lake with more of a reddish forest along the edges. As I was admiring the view, my cute alien girl decided to pounce on me. If she had been heavier or stronger, she might have accidentally made me fall over. But, as it were, I just twisted her in a grip and gave her a big hug back, even lifting her up and twirling her around a bit. She squealed a bit when I did that, probably from excitement. I probably spun her a little too hard, though, because when I let her go, she had to sit down for a bit. I teased her a little and flirted a bit as she sat, even got to know a bit more about her family and such. No other boyfriends, luckily for me. I must have gotten later than I realized because she got a little flustered, well, more flustered than usual, after a while, claiming that she had to be at dinner early tomorrow. I told her that it was okay and that I really looked forward to seeing her in a cute gingham dress again. I think that might have embarrassed her somewhat, because she insisted on making her own way home even when I offered to walk her all the way there. So I decided just to sit and enjoy the view until the sun set. I cannot return to my domicile. The target most likely knows where it is despite pretending otherwise. I must assume that my cover identity is exposed as well, given that my personal communicator is compromised. Using public communications, I once again attempted to get the contract cancelled. I was informed through the use of coded phrases that I will not be released from the contract. Additionally, I learned that unless the target is eliminated, my standing in the guild is revoked. My only chance would be to relocate to a system far away, re-establish my credentials, and rebuild. Calling in on a personal favor, I managed to secure a position as a sustenance preparer's assistant on an independent freighter from a non-aligned system. My contact informed me that there is a wide range of species crewing the ship. and that I'm unlikely to arouse suspicion. My contact also offered a place to lay low until launch. I fortunately took his offer, as the target is roaming the streets near the local sustenance consumption business. Target is likely searching for me. My assessment is that since I do not divulge any information, Target is now out for revenge. She hasn't shown up to work for the last 3 days. She hasn't answered her phone. I've asked the other waitresses where she lives, but no one knows. After getting back from our date, I got the call that the ship has a full load and a full crew. I have to leave in just a couple of days, and would desperately like to meet up with the Xeno girl again. Maybe wrap things up. Maybe get a promise to see her again next time we make planetfall here. I'll spend the last few days before I leave searching the area near the diner. Her co-workers said that she's always arrived on foot, so she must live nearby. I am safe. The ship launched less than a 10 standard wake cycle ago. It is, I am dismayed to learn, a slow ship. Next planetfall will be in several hundred wake cycles. On reflection, this should provide me with sufficient capital to re-establish myself on whatever world the ship stops at. In the meantime, I must prepare the sustenance consumption area for the crew. The first serving is, I am informed, in another 10th cycle. I didn't find her. Jake is making fun of me, of course, but Jake didn't meet her. Hopefully, this long haul will keep me busy enough to not think about her too much. It'll be at least a year before we're back in this part of the galaxy, and a year is a long time to miss someone. Grub's up in 10. Jake told me there is a new staff in their galley, and the cold-hearted miser of a captain sprung for a second mess hall staff too. Maybe he can't help being cold-hearted, being reptilian and all, but at least we don't have to help wash dishes and scrub the floor between shifts. I am dead, or worse. Is that? Yes, it is. End of story. I would just quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Dragon Soup, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Red Panda 121, Leslie 517, Bushmaster 177, Caspar Arnold, Cam Maxwell, Sans the Skeleton, Lightjock, Dragzoon WRE, and Lord Azrakal. Thank you very much.